On the Let's Go podcast, Tom Brady said he likes the Buccaneers game being on Monday. Why? Well, it gives his team a full week to prepare for the Cowboys. Brady also talks about his team's health. Take a listen.
I'm hoping we're pretty healthy. I mean, I believe we're going to be as healthy as we've been all year, which is kind of exciting. To get some guys back that haven't been in there, and then, see if we can go play our best football.
Going in with a full squad is half the battle this time of year. Shannon, what does Brady's comment tell you?
Nothing. The notion that the Buccaneers have struggled because of injuries, it just isn't true. It's a way of Tom trying to explain it and try to explain the season away and deflecting blame. Skip, the reason why they weren't winning wasn't because of health. I'm trying to figure, why are you trying to minimize your struggles? We all saw it. You tell me the center that's responsible for 4 more wins. Here's the thing. Tom Brady was sacked 22 times last year, 22 times this year. The only difference was last year he threw 43 touchdowns. This year he threw 25 touchdowns. You see the big difference? Points. Only scored 30 points twice. Twice in 17 games. Last year they scored 10 times, at least 10 times, and they had 3 games of at least 40. That is the difference, Tom. Your offensive line, you keep saying, you look at the offensive line and Ryan Jensen, and this will retire, and this will left be a free agency, and you still got sacked the least amount of any quarterback in the NFL. But you didn't produce the points. You know why? Because unlike a lot of these young quarterbacks that's willing to stand in there under duress and look down the barrel of the gun and take one to the chops, Tom Brady is unwilling to do that on 3rd and long situation. He's going to dirt it, get off the field. This is 2021 versus 2022. In 2021, they were second in points scored. This year, they're 25th. In 2021, they were second in red zone touchdowns. This year, they're 22nd. Second and third downs last year, 21st. Fourth in point differential, 25th. Sixth in turnover margin, tied for 20th. You see where I'm going with this, Skip? 10th in drives ending in punts. This year, 22nd. Now, all this other thing, look at this. First in passing yards last year. Second in passing yards this year. First in pass percentage last year. First in pass percentage last year. Fewest amount of sacks allowed last year. Fewest amount of sacks this year. What do we see, Skip? Points scored. Red zone. That's not because of injury, Tom. Just own it. Guys, we didn't play well. We're hoping to put together one of our best games of the season, and hopefully that's good enough to advance us in the playoffs. But this notion that the reason why that we've underachieved was because of injury is just not true.
Okay. You could be right about everything you just said. But Brady's history in this league is not as an excuse maker. And I don't remember him one time the entire year using injuries as an excuse. Not one time did he ever say, gee, we're just so beat up. We're just so banged up. Gee, I wish I had more help. LeBron says it pretty regularly, but he never says it. Until now, it was the flip of that to me. The way I hear it is, it was like delusionally optimistic. It was like over the top optimistic. I think we're going to be as healthy as I'm hoping, he said. I'm hoping we are, because I'm not sure about that. Because, Tom, it was your fault that your new center, Robert Hainsey, got hurt because you forced him to play at Atlanta, and he's gone with the pulled hamstring in the first quarter. I don't know if Ryan Jensen, his old center, the Pro Bowl center from last year, is going to be able to play. He's missed the entire year, and yet he's been practicing. Well, you tell me, are you going to throw him in on what's still an injured knee because he didn't have surgery, so I don't know how bad it is. It's got to be not good. Are you going to throw him in to the fire against the Dallas Cowboys and their pass rush on the opening night of the playoffs? I don't know, because you may be forced to do that. Okay, so to your point, the dirt balls have come way more often this year because he's operating above it all. And if you don't give him time, he's just going to throw it in the dirt. So he goes, read, dirt. Like it goes bang, 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 dirt. So he's throwing it in the dirt faster than he did last year because I don't think he has near the targets, the separation that he had a year ago. Okay, so let's start looking at some of the injuries that they did suffer. Julio Jones. Donovan Smith has not been right for about the last half of the season. And when he was right, he was leading the league in penalties as the left tackle, as an offensive lineman, leading the league. So he's missed 4 games total and has tried to play a couple that he shouldn't have. Tristan Wirfs has missed 4 games total. He's definitely tried to play the last couple, which I don't think he should. He especially should have taken. Well, he did. He took off at Atlanta. But
both of them did.
They both did. But they still both missed 4. Okay, then we flip it over to the defensive side. Shaq Barrett obviously played 8 games, and he's missed the last 9 because he tore his Achilles tendon. So he's gone. He was their best pass rusher. Carl Nassib has been a nice addition, and he's now missed 4 games, including the last 2. And then in the secondary, it's the strength of the team, but it's just been decimated all year because Logan Ryan's a good football player, as we know from Tom's past in New England.
Yeah.
And I thought he was really going to help the secondary. He's missed 8 games so far. And then Antoine Winfield missed 4, Jamel Dean missed 2, Murphy Bunting missed 5, and Carlton Davis has now missed the last 4. And I don't know about his potential to play even in this game. I'm not, because he got a banged up shoulder. Then obviously back to the defensive line. Vita Vea missed 3 games. Akeem Hicks was a big addition to them from the Bears because I thought he was pretty good. He's missed 6 games. He came back Sunday, and I saw a little burst from him, a little flash from him. Okay, these add up to, I don't know if you want to go to decimated, but they've been a beat-up football team.
Skip, we can do that by every team in the NFL.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be mutually exclusive to the BUCS, is that they're the only ones that had injuries.
Yeah.
I mean, there are other players, there are other teams that had their quarterback out, they've had their running back out, they've had receivers out, and so they don't make excuses. And even when they had those guys, so let's just say when they've had them, because those guys, the guys that you mentioned, didn't miss the entire season. They still only scored 30 points twice.
That is true.
So even when they had those guys, it wasn't like they were going up and down the field.
Okay. But I get that. But for Brady to say this now, this week, is only adding pressure to them because he's actually saying, hey, the glass is half full, and we might be about as healthy as we've been all year. Well, I don't think he's trying to make an excuse. I think he's just trying to say, hey, we got a shot. I think he's more sending a message to Dallas like, hey, you guys better not write us completely off.
I don't think the Cowboys are, but let's just say for the sake of argument, they lose this game as healthy as they've been all year. Now what's the excuse?
Well, he just took it away. That's my point. You're actually adding pressure to the mix, and I don't think it bothers him at all because his legacy sort of speaks for itself.
Yes.
I don't think he's going to be ashamed if they lose the game.
No, he shouldn't be. But the thing is, Skip, and I think that's the thing. 2 things can be true. Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback they ever played. Tom Brady played bad in 2022.
Okay.
I don't see what the debate is in that situation.
Right. But as you know, when it was time to play great against Carolina, that was pretty great because that was 432. It's like an aberration game, but it's his history. That's what he's done his whole career.
And that's what, Skip, as we age and guys get older, you can summons it up once or twice. It was the regularity. Tom Brady used to have games like he had against Carolina. He would have 8, 10 of those a year.
You could argue, okay? I also think his supporting cast was a little better in those days. I think he had a little more speed at receiver. I think Edelman and Amendola gave him option route underneath quickness that he doesn't have anymore. He doesn't have that.
That's Chris Godwin is a slot receiver, but he doesn't have the fast twitch like Amendola, like Edelman, like a Wes Welker. That's not what he does. He's a big body guy that's able to make tough contested catches over the middle. Mike Evans is a big body guy, not the greatest technician as far as a route runner, but he can make tough contested catches. Skip, he left New England because he felt that what they had at the wide receiver at the skill position wasn't good enough. That's why he went to Tampa.
Only because Julian and Amendola were nearing the end because they were just beat all to hell. They had quote unquote died for the cause.
Edelman, they had allowed Amendola to test the free agent market. He had already left. Amendola had been in so many car wrecks, it was just a matter of time before the car set him down beside the road.
As you well know, if you keep doing that over the middle and you keep getting smashed and you weigh 190, I'm kind of surprised they lasted as long as they did. But the point here is Mike Evans lumbers, and he can trick you. They're really good at tricking you, but remember, they went 11 games without a touchdown pass.
And I think that might have something to do with him not practicing as much as he should or could during the course of the week. So him and Brady have really never developed the chemistry that he normally has with his top-tier receivers. He's always had great relationship, but I think that comes with practice time, Skip. So with that being said, it's going to be very interesting to see if they're as healthy as Tom is saying they are.
I think it's actually kind of a relative statement compared to what I just detailed for